Welcome back, guys. It's me, John Avenger, once again. I know this looks a little different because I'm using my webcam's whatchamacallit application so that I can do this. I'm gonna try to do this as fast as I can, but if the video's long, well, this will be my first time talking about something that deserves a long shout out, this way. And that is the 2014 summer extravaganza, the biggest summer movie of last year. Wasn't Transformers 4. That made the most worldwide. Domestically, it was Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, when this film was being made, I was kind of intrigued because I'm like, I don't know who these people are, but I want to see how this goes. This could really be cool. And the end result was fantastic. I can't believe that this movie was just, one of the most highly praised films of last year. And no, yeah, some YouTubers say this movie looks stupid. I loved it. The stupidity that's in the film was amazing, and it made the film lighthearted, which I loved so much. There's so much in this movie that it blows my mind. I call it a light Avengers because I'm not as attached to these characters as I was with the Avengers or in Age of Ultron, but I still love the characters by the end. Because I only read one Guardians of the Galaxy comic, so I didn't really get attached to the characters, from that comic. I had to read more in order to know more about them. But these are some colorful characters. I mean, the way the movie starts, you got a very dramatic scene with Star-Lord when he's a little kid, and his mom is in the hospital dying, and she's bald, and it's a really good scene. The subtlety works very well. It's not beating you over the head with drama like some of Nolan's Batman movies and other films that try to be, melodramatic, like Ang Lee's The Hulk or something like that. But the drama's done well. The first 5 minutes is tragedy, then Star-Lord gets taken away, then the movie goes into the future when he's a young man. And the way the movie starts off after that, it becomes one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in the theater. I laughed more in this than a lot of comedies last year, and then you can take that to the bank. It starts off with Star-Lord with a mask on. He takes it off. It comes right off, like kind of like Iron Man, which I like that nod. He has his headphones on, and he's listening to a Walkman. I used to listen to a Walkman when I was a kid, and I love that nod. And he's listening to Redbone's "Come and Get Your Love." Awesome song. I've been hearing that song on my phone for months now, and I love that song. It's like boom, 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 boom. Hey, hey, what's the matter with your head? Yeah, love that song. And then when he uses one of the creatures as a microphone, the movie knows what it is. It's a fun space comedy, just like Star Wars was back in the 70s. And this movie was amazing. Just the visuals in this movie were absolutely gorgeous. I love the way space looks. I love the environments. Yes, it's CG, but it looks fantastic. It's what Prometheus should have been, or the Amazing Spider-Man films, or the Lost in Space movie from the 90s. This is how you do good visuals and give us a story we care about and a character that's hilarious. That he tries to steal this thing, this orb, and then these alien guys capture him. He's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Star-Lord." And then Jaman Hansu's character is like, "Who?" And then people were laughing in the theater. See, the film knows what it is. It's not trying to be dark. You cannot make a movie like this dark and, like scary, because it's got a talking tree and a raccoon. So I don't know how you can do that. Anyway, Star-Lord, he steals the show. Chris Pratt is amazing in this role. I'm glad he got this role. He deserves it. There's another Chris I care about, like Hemsworth and Evans. The whole cast is great in this movie. Even Zoe Saldana, and I don't like her in Avatar. Here, she was fun. She knew what she was. She didn't have to speak a foreign language that I didn't understand. I didn't have to read subtitles for half the movie. And she was a good fighter. So this is her best role. This is the role I definitely liked her in. She looks better green than she does in her real skin, to me anyway. But the one that steals this film is Rocket Raccoon, voiced by Bradley Cooper. He is amazing in this role. Just so badass. That gun that he has some of the best dialogue in the movie. He's hilarious. He's so sneaky, and he's so small, but he can do so much. Groot is a lot of fun. Vin Diesel's voice, just I'm Groot. He says 3 words in the whole film, and it's more awesome than characters that have like 10 lines of dialogue that just are just forgettable. Batista, I watched this guy when I was not when I was a kid, but when I was in my late teens and my early 20s. And he used to wrestle in WWE. I liked a lot of his matches. He's a very physical presence. A lot of people said he couldn't act. I thought he was fine as Drax the Destroyer. Does he destroy things? Oh hell yeah, he does. And the way he talks proper is like you're an imbecile and nothing goes over my head. And I love that. That's just it's tongue in cheek and it's just great. James Gunn was the perfect director for this. He wrote and directed the crap out of this movie, and it definitely shows. And the music in the movie, Hooked on a Feeling, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. I love the soundtrack in this movie. It's just one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a superhero film. Just the villain is the one problem I have with the film. The villain is lame in this movie. Ronan, played by Lee Pace, I think. He's a cool looking villain. I love the makeup. I love the makeup in this movie. It's just amazing. Just the face makeup and the body makeup and everything is done practically with the makeup. It's not CG on their faces. It looks great. Contact lenses, everything. Costumes are great. But Ronan is kind of forgettable. He's just a generic alien that just wants the Infinity Stone to take over the world. We've seen it all before. But anyway, the Guardians, when they meet up, they don't get along with each other, and they all want to do it for their own selfish purposes. Rocket wants to get the money, and Gamora, and also Drax wants to kill Thanos and Ronan for killing his family. Well, because Thanos is of course connected to the Avengers, so they have to put Thanos in there. It is a good standalone film. It's an ensemble piece that works. This film was very entertaining. I laughed a lot. When Rocket is jumping on Groot's shoulder and he's going, ah! That was I was like, I cannot believe that this is happening. This is freaking awesome. And when Groot, but there's a scene that he takes his arms out, he stretches him out, and he slams these guys left and right and left and right. It was as funny as the Hulk scene in the Avengers when Hulk was smashing Loki like a rag doll. It was just hilarious. I couldn't breathe because I was laughing so much. I was like, wow. And then he smiles at the camera and they're like, yep, I love you, Groot. Groot was amazing in the movie. Just these characters are so colorful. Some people said this was better than Avengers, mainly because, they liked, I guess, the humor more, or that, the movie was more science fiction-y. But, it's a great film. I love this film. I want to get it on Blu-ray because it deserves it. It deserves my money. I saw this in 2D in the theater, and I was having a ball. Just the action sequences are orgasmic. They're just amazing to watch. The spaceships and the stars and the moon and everything. There's a lot of conflict in the movie. So, Drax is really intimidating in one scene when he's fighting Ronan, but gets his ass kicked, but he still tries. The film tried, and it succeeded in many ways. A crappy villain's not going to ruin the movie for me unless the villain has too much screen time, which Ronan didn't, thankfully. And, just the fact that they cuss in this movie, so it's not exactly a PG script. Gunn put, enough curse words not to make it R-rated, because there was one scene Star-Lord was going to say the F word, but they cut it because, kids are going to be watching. He does do this, though, which I love. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know how this works. That is just great. He's like a mix of like Han Solo and like John McClane from the Die Hard films. It's amazing. Just he's so awesome. Chris Pratt. I'm probably going to see Jurassic World. I want to see him in the movie. I know the movie won't be great, but I think he'll do fine in the film. It was a great year for him last year. He did the Lego movie, which was my favorite movie of last year, and then he did this, and I love this, and this was in my top 3. The weapons they use in the film, the daggers and swords and guns and, laser guns, it's just amazing. Just wow. I love science fiction, so seeing this in the theater was like, it was like a drug that I could never find in a freaking drugstore or on the street. Believe me, just wow. Just my eyes were bulging out of my eye sockets. Just amazing. And, this movie was it was one of the best films last year, and it deserves everything it got. The people that hate on this film just didn't get it. They're like, oh, It's stupid. Talking tree and a talking raccoon. Pah, that's Boulder Dash. It's not supposed to be realistic. It's a space comedy with a bunch of crazy characters that really this should not have worked, but it did. And Marvel made a great film out of it. And Kevin Feige, don't you dare cut the sequel. Don't you dare, because this movie made more money than you can imagine, and you cannot make a movie any better than what we got here. I mean, the sequel definitely looking forward to. I want to see the Guardians in the Infinity War helping the Avengers face Thanos, possibly Galactus or MODOK, or who knows who's going to be in this movie. It's going to be epic. And the fact that this movie got made and it was awesome. The Inhumans, I'm reserving my thoughts on that because there hasn't been a trailer yet or a cast or or director or producer announcement. So I'm gonna wait for that. But this is how you do it right. This is how you take an obscure property that nobody knew about and make it work and make it entertaining. This movie was very entertaining. Beginning to end, I laughed. Beginning to end, it had a ton of action, good humor, good character moments. You had the characters actually talk to each other and make, conversation and connect. You don't just have them, oh, they just connected just because. No, the director knew what he was doing, and he made these characters. We cared about them, even if whether they were, human or not, or aliens. We care about them, and yeah, it's what the 2014 Ninja Turtles missed out on. Just because it's for kids doesn't mean you can't try to have character development and make us care about what's going on. Because if you don't care about the characters, the movie falls on its face. But we did. We made this movie a hit, and I can't wait for the sequel and more Marvel films because this did us so right. The ending was great. Seeing Howard the Duck at the end credits, if you skip to the end after it says the Guardians will return, and you see the Groot dancing, the little Groot dancing, and then Drax is like looking, and that was funny in the theater. You see Howard the Duck in CG, and it looked hilarious. It was voiced by Seth Green. Really funny scene. It was good to see Howard the Duck being something like this. Just really, really fun, it's just fun. It's a fun movie. It's a popcorn flick that just was worth my money, and I'm glad that I got to see it. And what else can I say? It's a light Avengers that I really did enjoy. So if there's some things I left out, I'll probably mention it next time, because I like talking about Marvel films. I still got one more, and it's that one, Age of Ultron, which I'm going to talk about next time. And I'm going to give a full in-depth review on it. I know I'm going to mention the things that they cut out or they rushed or, some of the problems I've been hearing about this film. And no, that's not a crappy sequel, people. I'm sorry. I loved every second of that movie, even the things that were cut. And when I see the extended cut, I'm gonna just lose my crap when I see that too. So anyway, that's next time. Guardians, it gets 2 thumbs up for me. It's a great movie. Watch it with your family. It's just a fun, entertaining sci-fi epic. Piss poor villain, but hey, I've seen good movies with piss poor villains in the past. But anyway, that's Guardians of the Galaxy. An amazing, sci-fi adventure that I will watch again and again when I get it on Blu-ray. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And next time we go to Age of Ultron, the best sequel of 2015 so far. I will see Mad Max Fury Road one day, but not till I see Thunder Beyond Thunderdome because I still need to watch that one. And but hey, it has a lead that I'm not really that sold on. And this had a ton of leads that I loved, and you will find out next time. And I will get back to you guys later.